Alright, I'm centered. Okay. Unfortunately, it's a little gloomy out today, so I can't really use the sunlight. I have this ugly yellow light today. I haven't really had to turn this one on in many of my episodes. I think only like 2 or 3 other ones in the past, but here we are again. Didn't really have much of a choice. It's just raining and gloomy the whole day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who is watching this on Mother's Day and who is a mother. Hello. I got a viewer. Okay, so you might have noticed in your subscriptions feed, if you're subscribed to me or just on my channel, that I already have episode 25 scheduled as a premiere, and that's because I'm not going to be here to do it live next Sunday, so I recorded it in advance, and it'll premiere at the same time. I do these episodes every Sunday at 4 p.m. Sometimes I'm a minute or two late, but I always make sure I try to do it at 4 p.m. and I don't take a day off. I even did one on Easter. So yeah, I have. It's been a long time since I haven't entered any of your lives. Do I know you? Okay. Anyway, this one is called Not My Responsibility, and it's about setting boundaries. It's about knowing. Oh, somebody just said something. I don't know what it means. um. Okay. So for those of you who are not watching live, you can just look at the live chat replay to see what I'm reading and reacting to. That should be available on any device you're watching this on. But anyway, I am gonna do an edited show called Turbo Topics after I finish Fallen World after episode 30. So there's not going to be an episode 31 of this show, and the edited show is going to be a lot more. Your username looks familiar, but do I only know you from YouTube? Because if then I probably do remember seeing your comments before, but you made it sound like we knew each other. Anyway, yeah, this has been kind of a long intro. I just want to get into it. Because boundaries. Chapter 1 is called Because Boundaries. So, yeah, we all have a responsibility to kind of own. It was kind of inspired by that. The title actually was inspired by her short film, and Billie Eilish also has a song called Not My Responsibility that's going to be on her new album. I'm not actually sure if the song is the audio from the short film or if it's a separate thing, and it's this actual song. I don't know, but that's kind of what inspired the title, and also just because I wanted to do this video anyway, and I was like, what should I call it? And I just thought, that works, makes sense. But I don't know what I would do if I'm going to talk about Billie Eilish the whole time. Oh yeah, I did a couple live streams with my mom. That sounds familiar. Okay. So we all have a responsibility to own our energy and our actions and our decisions. And I think the main point of this video is about making sure that you're not doing something out of guilt or obligation or shame if you feel like you have to do something, or like somebody's making you feel like you should do something, or you should act a certain way or do something a certain way. It's about making sure you know what you are and aren't responsible for. So people are always worried that they're going to be acting like a sociopath or a selfish person. It's like, oh my god, I don't care about other people. I'm acting like I don't care about other people. Someone's asking me to do something and I'm ignoring them, or I'm not caring about how this person feels and stuff like that. Or they're the complete opposite and they just don't care about how anybody feels. And it's like you got to find a balance between those two extremes. Someone give him a like. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what this is about. And the chapter one is basically that we have to know how to respect boundaries, including our own. And nobody has the right to make you feel guilty or obligated to act a certain way. If somebody's making you feel like you have to behave a certain way around them, they're really just trying to, dim your own light. We all have our own light. We all have a way to be. And sometimes people who don't really nurture that, people who don't really take care of themselves, are going to see somebody else who is taking care of themselves, and they're going to be really annoyed by it. Um, and and it's like, you know, it's not necessarily always that they're jealous. It's not that they're always like, sorry if I keep leaning in and just reading comments. And it's hard for me to read them out loud because they disappear pretty fast, and I read it out loud slower than I would in my head. So, like I said, just look at the live chat if you're watching it live, or the replay if you're not watching it live. Unless you're in the in-between state where it's like there's about 20 hours where it's processing and it's not actually fully ready to watch. And if you're in that in-between state watching this, then the live chat replay won't be there. But just wait a little bit and come back the next day and it'll be there. Um, so yeah, I already read everything I wrote under chapter one, but I just want to explain. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone is jealous of you or that they have an agenda against you. They just haven't really taken care of themselves. So they're not really prepared for the world to be the way that it is. And I think that you kind of achieve peace when you just are able to see the world the way that it is and accept things the way that they are instead of always seeing the world the way that you think it ought to be. And you're never going to be at peace if you're constantly thinking about the way things should be, the way people should be acting, the way situations should play out. If you're watching a video and you don't like the way that it was edited or something, like, people pick up on the littlest things, and it can be something from this is out of place, and it can look like OCD. It can actually be OCD. I didn't need to say actually twice. Uh, but even if it's not OCD, people can do things that look like OCD, because what it really is control. You're not at peace with the way things are because you have an idea in your head of how things should be, and you're going to be constantly finding any random little thing that isn't the way you want it to be, and you're never going to really be happy. And that means that you're not going to be working well with other people either. So chapter 2 is called "That's Why They're Your Feelings." And this is an important one. You're responsible for your feelings. You're not a victim of circumstance. A lot of people would like to believe that they are a victim of the way things are. They see the world in a certain way and they have an idea of how it should be instead. And instead of just so you could take any attack, you could say, every cut is an opportunity to learn how to heal and then share what you learn. You get cut, and then you say, damn it, I've been cut. And it bothers me because I had an idea in my head of how my day was going to go, and it didn't involve getting cut. So I'm going to be a victim now, and I'm going to feel like I'm owed something. You owe me a band-aid because I got cut. Fate owes me a band-aid. How do I feel about vegetarians? Um, I mean, vegetarians it's more like a diet than anything else, but vegans, that's a lifestyle. A vegan is someone who doesn't even buy leather couches. A vegan is someone who won't eat eggs or pretty much anything that involves animal cruelty. That's what vegans are against. Vegetarians just eat vegetables, and it's a diet, not a lifestyle. So how do I feel about vegans? I think there's nothing wrong with being vegan. I definitely don't think that it's like everyone has to be a vegan in order to consider themselves a good person, but you're not a bad person for being a vegan. Just, live your life the way that you want to live it. And, as long as you're not making other people feel like shit for not living your life, for not living their lives the way you chose to live yours. If you're the type of vegan who goes around making everybody else feel like they're an animal killer or they're a monster or they're not being respectful of the environment, they're contributing to climate change or making the world a better place or being selfish, if you're going around making people feel that way, you have your own shit to work out, because that's not normal. You don't talk to people like that. And you're not the the solution to climate change just because you're vegan. So get off your high horse. Um, People are not living on Earth. We're somewhere else in our heads all the time. It's really sad, because we talk to each other like we don't actually matter. We talk to each other. We talk down to each other. We talk to each other like the way that we're making the other person feel doesn't matter, which is kind of the balance that I'm talking about, because that's why they're your feelings, and there are two sides to that. So what I have written, the last thing I have written under this chapter is that if you ever make someone feel responsible for your feelings, you're just wrong. And the it's kind of like okay, I could not read all of that. But what I got out of it is that you're kind of a vegetarian and a bunch of other stuff. I'll check back tomorrow and I'll read the whole comment. Yeah, that's okay. Like like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is that if you ever make somebody feel responsible for your feelings, you're not really saying that this person is being selfish or this person doesn't care about you. You're just saying that this person owes you something and this person has to change the way that they are behaving just for you. And if you want, we shouldn't be ignoring the way that we feel. We shouldn't be talking to each other as if as if the way the other person feels doesn't matter. When you want to talk to somebody else and you're just going to completely disregard their feelings. Let's say somebody asks you and makes it very clear, says, I don't want you to say this to me anymore. If you bring this topic up, I will leave the room. I don't want you to talk about this. I don't want you to do this thing anymore. I don't want you to, I don't know, maybe they just say, I want you to hear me. I want you to listen to me. Now, from this point, you do have the ability to set your own boundaries and say, you know what, I really would rather not. I'll just, avoid it and just, not get involved. But you also have the opportunity to say, okay, you want me to listen to you? I'll listen to you. What do you want to say? And if you do a third option, which is just completely disrespecting them and continuing to do other things and getting involved, you can either completely dissociate and back off, or you can listen to them and try to figure out, a way to come together in a solution. But if you pick a third option, then you're being selfish, which is chapter 3. Chapter 3 is called Being Selfish. If you think you're being selfish or disrespectful or inconsiderate, I want you to consider this. Are you deliberately crossing someone else's clear boundaries? Or are you trying to set your own boundaries, but you feel guilty? And the answer to that question is the most important thing. I'm only 13 minutes in, and I feel like I've already covered a good amount of what I wanted to say, so this might be a shorter one. But are you trying to set your own boundaries and say, you know what? I just don't want to get involved in this. I'm allowed to be alone. I'm not obligated to interact or to care about how you feel. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's your best friend or your child or your aunt or your sibling or your brother or sibling brother. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter, like they say that blood is thicker than water, but they don't tell you why that matters. You have to be able to set your own boundaries. It doesn't mean you don't love the other person. If it's somebody close to you, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're taking care of yourself and you're allowed to. And if they interpret it in a personal way or try to make you feel like you're hurting them or like your boundaries are being taken personally, that's their own problem. So it's on you to make sure you know that you're not responsible for how they feel. Like chapter 2, that's why they're their feelings. They're not yours. It's not your job. But it is your job to make sure you're always being an empathetic and respectful person. So the same way that you want other people to respect your boundaries, you have to respect theirs. So when they ask you to do something, don't just, unless it's unreasonable, like if they say, if they're asking you to let them cross your boundaries, that's a different story. But if they're just asking you not to do something, you are saying a lot, my friend, and I cannot read all of that at once. I don't even have my glasses on. I usually don't have this active of a live chat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow after this is processed and reread all the live chat. Um, and you also, you can just comment in the actual comment section. I'll reply to you there if you want to say anything important or just comment about the video. But I think it's like there's a lot of people who have this mentality of feeling like they're a victim. And I think when you come into the world, you can either choose to be humble and see things the way that they are and just, you know, be ready to work with it, be able to take a cut and say, you know what, I just got cut. But here I can learn how to heal my cut, and then I can teach that to other people. Or you could say, I just got cut, now I'm gonna go steal medicine off of somebody because I'm a victim and I didn't do anything to deserve this cut. So the world owes me something, so I'm just gonna take it. And then the person who you took that from could have used it for somebody else. This is an example that I actually gave in the video that I'm doing next week. I know because I filmed it yesterday. Um, but it's these videos are kind of similar because they're about similar concepts. The one next week is more philosophical, and this one is just about setting boundaries. So just say it's not my responsibility to take care of the way that you feel. The way you feel is your responsibility. If you get cut, you can learn how to heal. You're not a victim, and I don't owe you a band-aid. But then they, you know, if they continue to feel like that and they continue to make you feel guilty, I think a good rule of thumb is to always ask yourself, am I doing something out of guilt? Am I doing something that I perceive as the right thing or the good thing, but I'm doing it because I feel guilty? Then it's not the right thing. If you're doing the right thing out of guilt, it's not right, because you should never feel guilty. Um, Guilt is something that you feel when somebody's making you feel a certain way, or whether it's society. There's a ton of things in society that are just normalized, or it could be a specific person who's making you feel guilty. But just, you know, if it's your own thoughts, it's probably from society. It's like just in your head. Um, but you really shouldn't feel obligated to take care of the way other people feel, other people's opinions of you. It's not your responsibility. You're responsible for the way that you behave and the way that you treat other people, and how they guilt you into it is they say that, well, you are responsible for how you treat other people, so why aren't you treating me the way I want you to treat me? Well, you're treating them exactly the way that you would want to be treated, with respect. And if you were being whiny and acting like you were owed everything, you would want someone to say, you know what, cut the shit, get up off your feet, take care of yourself, heal your own cut, and stop acting like a victim. And that's okay, you know, because we're not victims. Everybody has an equal opportunity to learn the same things, and we can either choose to believe that or feel like a victim. And there are people where the table is genuinely tilted against them, like the marginalized minorities, but that doesn't mean that they don't have the ability to choose to not feel like a victim and to stand up and just say, this is wrong, and I know who I am. I'm not going to let other people make me feel guilty about being the way that I am or doing what I'm doing. So just stop letting people make you feel guilty or like you're responsible for the way they feel. That whole not in my backyard attitude, well, that's your problem. Go ahead and move, asshole. Like, just, that's the kind of general point that I'm making. So hopefully that's clear. If it's not clear, I will gladly clarify any questions anybody has in the comments. But I don't think that you have to worry about being a bad person or a sociopath or selfish if you're just respecting your own boundaries and respecting other people's boundaries. Don't let someone make you feel guilty or like you owe them something, because they're the one who is not taking responsibility. And it's just a balance. I always say this, but everything is about balancing between two kind of extremes, like black and white. And it's not really that simple. It's not just, well, you know, I wanted to do this, so I'm gonna do this. And then it's like, I had this one time, somebody told me to zip my coat down because I had my sweater was zipped all the way up. And they said, zip it down a little bit. So I went down all the way. And they were like, no, just a little bit. Pull it back up and then just, you know, leave a little room at the top. And I said, and I went it up all the way. And I refused to just leave it a little bit because it was a little bit like, you know, it's, let me wear it the way I want to wear it. I was comfortable with it like this, and I wasn't going to have it in between. But they were trying to tell me how to dress, and that was annoying the hell out of me. So this was years ago. I was a kid, but I kept doing that, just kind of just to fuck with them. But I think it's a good metaphor for how people think all the time. They think that it's just one or the other, and there's usually an in-between state. There's usually a balance, and it's not just as simple as you always have to do what the people around you want you to do. Otherwise, you're not being considerate. You're being selfish. Versus never hear what anybody else has to say. Always do whatever you want to do, and just act like other people don't matter. There is something in between that, and it requires you to be active. You can't just say, all right, here's a set of rules, here's how to do this, I can just live with this from now on. You have to be active every single second of every single day in trying to figure out if you're doing the right thing, because it's situational. It's not just there's a right thing and a wrong thing. In any given situation, the right thing last time might not be the right thing this time, even if it's the same exact thing. Because the situation is never going to be exactly the same both times. There's always going to be one slight difference. And I think I talked about this last week too. I used the trolley problem example. So go watch my video from last week for more information on that, because I don't want to get too much into it this week. But yeah, just balance. That's it. It's situational. Always be mindful. Don't try looking for a certain right or wrong way of doing things. Just know that, the right thing is going to depend on the situation, and you have to be able to know in any given situation, am I doing the right thing? And the best way to do that is to just say, am I coming from a place of fear and manipulation and control, or am I coming from a place of empathy and positivity and faith? And if you can, just kind of ask yourself that and immediately know what the right answer is, that's all you have to do. But just make sure you're doing that every day. And that's it. That's really all I can tell you. So, God, it's so gloomy out. I was in a better mood last week, but actually I was in a really good mood last week. Last week I just kind of said fuck everything and just had this really kind of like an epiphany of just not caring what other people think anymore, and it was so freeing. And I think it helped that I was wearing a shirt with the word fuck on it, because I've never done that before. But I was happy with the quote. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I like this shirt. It says something that I think is the truth. And I was proud to wear it. So it just kind of made me feel like, yeah, I can do anything. Nobody else's opinion matters. That's an empowering feeling. So you have to know your own power. And if you ever feel like a situation occurs, or there's a specific thing that triggers a hard memory, or you just in general don't feel comfortable, just say, fuck it. I don't like the way I feel, and I'm not going to let myself feel like this. I'm stronger than this. If I don't like the way I feel, I'm not going to feel that way, because I don't want to, and I'm stronger than anything else. It's just understanding your power and knowing that you are as strong as you need to be, and you can always decide how you want to feel. Nobody else can decide that for you. So own your power. That's the best advice I can give you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. I already know what you're going to be watching next week, but the one after that, I don't remember the date, but the one on the 16th is going to be a premiere and not a live stream, and the one after that on the next Sunday is also going to be that, but after that I'll be doing them live again. So I'll take a 2-week break, but you'll still get videos, and thank you for watching. Cow on the rain hole, because cows and holes and rain and Jesus, I don't know, just Jesus sometimes.